Staggered but still unbeaten. MarkRogersTV just a few minutes after Miami survived at North Carolina 27-23. The Canes were down to the heels in the fourth quarter, 23-13, came back with 2 touchdown drives to take it 27-23. Okay, let's go to the business of Miami's season. The Canes are now 6-0. This is what I hate about college football rankings. Nobody is talking about Miami to win a national championship. The Canes do not look like a BCS national championship contender on the field. But what's the record? The record is 6-0. What are the big wins? The biggest win was against Florida. Florida, a comparable team to Georgia. Georgia, a team that Clemson defeated. Miami plays in the same conference as Florida State and as Clemson. But for some reason, the Canes are not being talked about as a BCS National Championship contender. Again, I know that they don't look like one, but the credentials are there and compare with some of the other teams around the country who are undefeated and getting that consideration. On this night, quarterback Stephen Morris did not look like a national championship quarterback. He threw 4 interceptions. Even beyond the interception, he was just throwing the ball all over the place. He certainly has the arm, but as a senior, you have to question the decision-making and also have to question the accuracy against the top-flight defense. This North Carolina defense played extremely well, considering coming in at 1-4. They've had some injuries on defense. They're very thin on that side of the football, and the Heels put up a fight at home. Again, Stephen Morris with 4 interceptions. We were particularly impressed with Dominique Green, the young freshman for North Carolina, defensive back number 26. He intercepted 2 passes in this game, and both were exceptional, brilliant catches. Got to catch him on the highlights. Dominique Green, this a kid who was a walk-on. Then he finally got a scholarship in August, gained the starting spot the week before the opener for North Carolina, and picks off the 2 passes tonight to almost lead North Carolina to a win. Okay, back to Miami. Duke Johnson got hurt, was taken from the game first quarter. 8 carries, 83 yards. He had a 59-yarder. Surprisingly, was caught from behind on that run into North Carolina territory. Again, Duke Johnson, we don't know the severity of the injury, but had to leave this football game. So the Miami running back depth and Al Golden's recruiting coming into play in this action because Dallas Crawford carried 34 times in this football game. His most attempts this season, 13 against South Florida. So Dallas Crawford had to, the sophomore out of Fort Myers, had to carry the football, and he looked exceptional, gaining some really tough yardage. And he's got a burst, he's got a mean streak, and he toted the football with Eduardo Clemens, giving him a breather on the last couple drives. North Carolina had a chance to put themselves in much better position, but Bryn Renner threw a costly interception down around the 10-yard line on their second to last possession. That proved costly. Of course, they were near field goal range at that point with a 23-20 lead to make it, of course, a 6-point lead, which would have meant just needing a field goal theoretically after Miami scored the game-winning touchdown with 16 seconds left. And if you caught it, the end of this football game, despite Miami going up by 4 with 16 seconds left, North Carolina completed a pass after a nice kickoff return, and they were throwing into the end zone, almost completed the pass as time ran out, or they could have pulled out the miracle win over Miami. But Renner made that mistake. That was crucial for a senior quarterback to just chuck the ball up at the 10-yard line in field goal range. And the series after that, they had a manageable 3rd and 1. Then it got they had a false start penalty, knocked him back to 3rd and 6. And again, they were owning field position in the fourth quarter with a 10-point lead. Miami had the 1 touchdown drive, but even after the touchdown drive to make it 23-20, North Carolina with 2 golden opportunities to hang on to the football and hang on to an upset win. The Heels move on to 1-5. We should say drop to 1-5. North Carolina with a promising season heading into this 2013 campaign. They were 8-4 last season. Larry Fedora making some strides in the recruiting rankings. We expected much more out of this football team, but North Carolina now, again, the Heels at 1-5, taking on Boston College in 9 days next Saturday. For Miami, Need to get Duke Johnson healthy. Again, we don't know the severity of that injury. Also, Phillip Dorsett, who's caught 13 for 2 touchdowns, one of the deep speed threats for the Canes, also had to leave this football game, and Miami has some injuries in the secondary as well. Like to mention a few guys for North Carolina. Tight end Eric Ebron, 7 catches for 167 and 1 touchdown, one of the best tight ends in college football. He is certainly an NFL prospect. TJ Thorpe out of the backfield, a sophomore for North Carolina, stepped up in this football game, made some nice runs, runs after the catch for the Heels as well. And again, Dominique Green is a guy that I'd like to keep my eye on just because of the 2 exceptional plays that he made. Trey Boston, a safety for North Carolina, really comes up and enforces the run, stops the run, and hits people with a ton of effort. But on this night, too many mistakes by North Carolina. Miami, the superior football team, made mistakes to keep Carolina in it. The Canes coming up, 9 days off till they play Wake Forest, and then down the road, back-to-back outings against Florida State in Tallahassee on November 2nd and Virginia Tech on November 9th. So that's what it's going to come down to for the Canes to prove that they belong in the BCS championship race. Certainly if Florida State, especially if the Noles defeat Clemson on the road coming up this Saturday, and then Miami goes to Tallahassee and knocks out Florida State, then certainly Miami belongs in the discussion. But for right now, it's 6-0, and it's not a very pretty 6-0. But again, that includes a trip, actually a home game and a home win against the Florida Gators, which that win is looking less impressive as the weeks go by, but certainly a top 5 defense in the country at Florida. An impressive win in my book when you beat one of the best teams in the SEC, even though they're struggling offensively. So Miami goes to 6-0. Would love to hear from Canes fans, from North Carolina football fans. Do you have hope for the rest of the season? What are you looking to get out of the rest of 2013 heading into 14 and beyond with Larry Fedora? Has he done the job as coach? Certainly coming off 8-4, now the downer at 1-5. What would you like to see out of your football team the rest of the season? Need to hear from you now, right here on Mark Rogers TV.